was just looking at you through the hole in Lonely G, and you get the gold eye shadow. I love that. I love looking at that. Whenever that, and I'll pause it, and I just like, I mean, for years, you know. And just, oh, it's just like when you make yourself available just to look at your face, and then it goes to like the pink moon clip, and then comes back to it, and it's like, oh, like it, oh, goodbye, I'm done. Mm, mm. I'm trying to get to the topic. Mm. Trying to remember, I had something with mm, so much. Okay, so like I'm a little kid, and they done they done beat me up and drugged me and split my personality in their little CIA mind control MK Ultra uh, mind control experiment, and but they didn't do a good job. You know, it didn't take. So like I'm dreaming about the shit. Like they wake me up in the middle of the night and they do their little working with me. You know, they split my personality, and then they train the other guy. And I get up and go to school all tired the next day. Don't know nothing about it. But then I start dreaming this shit that's really happening. Probably because I'm so tired or something. Waking up inside this shit. And but they giving me drugs that's supposed to prevent that shit. But I get used to them or something. And so when I wake up, you know, zippity doo dah, you know, I become the other guy. But you know the whole story, you know, fucking, you know, I'm on the run, you know. I done stole their second, their, well, but they done programmed them with all this fucking information and shit, you know. Oh, but I was really good, you know, at the, like that psychic stuff. I was really, like they did a bunch of experiments on me, and I was like off the charts better than a lot of, you know, like they were really exuberant about my prospects, and then I ran off with all their shit, and they were stalking me, you know, they were fucking like questioning me and putting me under, literally putting me under lights, and my both my parents sit there with a light right behind them, and me in a chair, and them in two chairs like in front of me, and they're fucking like they'd send all the other kids to bed early, and they'd drill me for like a long time, man, trying to find their guy, asking me all kinds of personal questions and trying to come at me for. I'm like, what the fuck, Art, is wrong with you? It's like, why don't you let me go to bed? Why don't you let us watch TV and then go to bed like normal? What the fuck you? Like they kept doing it. I did it a couple of times, and I'm faking the whole time. I know what they're looking for, because the other guy's inside me, and I'm like holding him because hostage, because he knows all the shit. I need him because he knows about them, and I don't know what the fuck. I just know what I know when I woke up with him. So anyway, so then I got stung by the bees on purpose to cover, like, that's where he went. I guess he's lost now, you know. Because he got stung so bad. Now yeah, he's not himself no more. Sort of. But anyway, so then after that shit failed, you know, the fucking trying to find me. After I got stung, then we come in like one day, like a Saturday and shit. And like the next day we're gonna go to church and shit. It might have been a Sunday, but I think it was like the day before. And they told us, like, we ain't going to church no more. And we're like, cool, but we ain't been going to church much anymore. Anyway, and they're like, well, we're not going no more, not doing no more Christian. We're gonna meditate. We're gonna do trance, and then they take us down to DC, to like down in the heart of like Embassy Row, where all the, where all the Nazis are and the spies, and like like right now a hornet's nest and shit, and a fucking embassy of like that's part of the building. I mean, they're acting like it wasn't, but it's like no, yeah, it's what it was, and then I go up and I know what the fuck it is, It's just like when they sit me down and question me and shit. Or when they were trying to mind control, it's like I know what the fuck it is. It's always the same shit, so they do this like then there's this big group of people and it's like it's all got to do with like then we start following this guy, the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. You can look him up. He was like a big fucking deal, He was like the Beatles and him and meditating, and New Age and all this love, peace shit. And it's all CIA. It's all fucking CIA shit. It's like New Age, Mike. It's like the drug. Oh man, you wouldn't believe the real fucking story. I mean. And it's so fucking obvious. That's why it's like no fucking way. Like that shit wouldn't happen. And it's like no, that's the shit that does happen. The shit that you think would never happen because then nobody believes it's happening until it's happened. Like that's like look in the Bible, like all the crazy stories is like right, and you don't find out until like the Holocaust. You don't find out till after. Because nobody believed that crazy shit would happen. It's like, that's the shit that happens. It's like you leave the fucking window open on that side of the house. That side of the house freezes. You shut the window over there, well, it'll get cold, whatever. Shut the fucking window in the winter. Any fucking way. What the hell am I even talking about? Oh, yeah. So that's, and we're like little kids, Oh, wait a minute. How old were we? So that must have been 12, 13 shit. And, maybe even 11 when it started. I think it was 12, 13. And, so we'd be like, well, see, we're here in D.C., and so Swami guy, whenever he comes here, we go sit in the big, like, auditorium and shit. He sit down there. And you look him up, he got this funny little voice, and he sit there with his legs crossed, little Hindu guy. And you're sitting there like what the fuck, And then they take us around the country following the motherfucker, and then we go into these like commune shit, but it's all like to get me. Like, and they start doing all this, like, occulty stuff, but magic-y, spiritual, like they tell you. They got these ladies that are, like, fucking, mediums, and they tell you about yourself. It's like you'd be sitting there in the Church of Metaphysical Science, and then they do this, they give the little speech, whatever, they go, okay, now we're going to do this thing. And they walk around, they walk up to you, like anybody in the audience, like, can I come to you? And you go, yes. And then they say, they want me to tell you, and then they tell you, like, fortune tell you, And, But these motherfuckers turn out to be like, okay, the CIA was using these guys. It's all public record, it's all part of like some shit that came out later in the 80s and shit. Like they had these mediums. The CIA was doing psychic research like they were doing on me, but they had these like these witches, the stories in the newspaper, like these witches doing experiments for them that spent more time up on Capitol Hill. Like they were hired by the CIA for these experiments, legitimate in some sense, because the Russians and doing the same kind of experiments, so we got to keep up. A good excuse anyway, but it said, but they spent all their time. Well, like once Capitol Hill found out they had psychics working for the CIA, and they're like, oh wow, they must really know what they're talking about because the CIA is the CIA and shit. So they spent a lot of time up on Capitol Hill going around telling people this is what this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do. This is what the spirits are telling me and shit. And I'm reading that in the paper. At the same time, I'm hanging out with these bitches, and they're doing my fortune. And then at some point, they fucking like offer me a fucking, like ground floor seat at the New World Order. I mean, telling me the New World Order, and that they got senators and presidents' wives and congressmen and heads of corporations that come to them, and it's like that I don't see it, but behind the scenes, these motherfuckers are fucking like guiding the future of a whole new age, and I can have a ground floor seat because I'm like, I don't know, because I just know the right people at the right time for no reason. All the other cult followers, they get to line up behind me, even though I haven't even read none of the books or nothing and shit. A little bit, but I tell them, I just come along because I get weird ideas from you, and then I go home and read The Hobbit and shit, and I start thinking all this weird shit, but I don't believe in a lot of the shit y'all do. I think you guys are nuts. I tell them that shit. Well, that can get you in trouble too, but then all of a sudden, like the whole thing, they always keep trying to drag me into this shit, and then when I don't go for it, it just ends. Like, all of a sudden, they're not popular on Capitol Hill anymore. The CIA has dumped all that shit, and and now then they're coming at me from some other direction and shit until they say, "Fuck it, he's never going to be a cult leader like we want, so let's throw him in prison and make him start a cult in there." Well, then we can just give him a bunch of followers. Whether we'll just turn him into a cult leader. We'll beat it into him. I'm like. And they told me that shit. And then they started locking me up. They said, all in the same hour, she offers me a ground floor seat at the New World Order. At the behind the scenes Dark Angels, the watchers behind the scenes, get ground floor seat. And then when I told her, you fucking people are whacker than crack. I don't care if you're I don't care who. I don't care if that story's all true. Then they're whack. It's like, fuck them, fuck you. Not know so many words, but plenty insulting enough, yeah, to get my point across. So then we get to her apartment, and she gives me my reading and tells me I'm going to prison for the rest of my life to start a cult. And shit, and I'm like, and then she pulls out a book and she said, like, yeah, here he is. Here's the spirit that's talking to me. And she shows me this, like, I've never even seen this before, but I just happen to have it here in the book. The name came to me. And here's an actual angel named that. And this angel is it's a prison cult angel. And it says you're going to prison and you're going to lead a great movement and shit. It's like, okay. Next thing you know, they're throwing all these weird charges. And, next thing you know, there's like, oh, my whole life's fucking upside down and insane from my parent, from all the people who were part of all this weird shit, like locking me up. Well, I mean, see, that's where they fuck up now. I don't know how I fucking even made it, because the whole game with them, it's been all my life. It's been like pushing me up to the line and trying to get me to cross it, and then I'm fucked. They're like, hey, he made the mistake. It's like, and I always like, oh shit, I just barely didn't make it, or, I mean, a lot of times I was wearing them out, but there were times, it's like, fuck, later I'd be like, oh my God, how the fuck did I make it through that shit without crossing the line? Man, it's fucking heavy. 'Cause, I mean, I've been through a lot of these motherfuckers have thrown a lot of fucking crazy. You would not believe. Like a lot, like all the fucking time. Like playing fucking tennis or something. It's like, God damn, playing tennis with giant hornets or something, You bat them back after, it's like, God damn, but you're learning, I mean, it's like fascinating. It's like fucked up, man. Like when I did get stung and the uric acid levels made me process information different and shit, and the visions I had, and when I died, and it was like, I knew I could probably go to the doctor and get that shit fixed, but I was like, no fucking way. I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck what I got to go through. But that's been most of my life. It's been fucking since I got stung. It's like I'm either out working, hard laboring, or walking. Fucking like when I was a kid, walking everywhere, man. Hitchhiking everywhere and walking miles, riding bicycles every day because if I don't, I start having trouble. I've just trained myself to. Yeah, but see, it's also I get thinking, so it all works together. It's keeping the blood flowing and fluid and pissing out the, it's like keeps the whole system going without like gouting up and shit. Me lots of uric acid to fucking keep my brain fucking pumping information because I've been like ever since I got stung, I've been like on an LSD, fucking insane fucking LSD. Well, even before then, because it all started over this mind control crap, which I wouldn't even ever believe myself. And then the fucking alphabet crap creeps up, and I'm like, yeah, but even then, I didn't know about the CIA, and then the CIA stuff came up. But that's the thing is like it's like the physical, the walking, and the working. It leads to the thinking. Yeah, I've always done that, which keeps me going. Then I went and fucked up, Yeah, but oh, yeah, that's the thing. But see, then they take us up into this room to meditate, And the way the place was set up, it's real fancy and shit, windows and like, officey, but embassy officey, old shit, but nice, like in a foreign country or something. And I was like, they're fucking watching, I'm sitting there looking around like I ain't gonna do it. This is some kind of hypnotize. This is some kind of weird shit, I ain't gonna do it. And I'm sitting there looking around and go, they're probably watching. So I shut my eyes and pretended to do it. And then I'm like doing it because I'm fighting doing it. I'm trying not to think the mantra. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying not to do the meditation as a form of inner rebellion, which is making it hard not to because I'm trying not to. So then I start thinking the word. But anyway, and then we get home, and And they start requiring, like, we all have to be home at a certain time to go to our rooms and meditate, which worked for, like, I don't know, so many days or a week or whatever until they, my mom, it's not like we wouldn't do it. It's like they get tired of that shit. But but I learned to do it. I learned to do it on, take it my own direction. Yeah, but see, they fucking did all these experiments on me with astral projection and fucking psychic experiments and shit. They're just fucking around like Ouija board shit. But it was next. It was like next. It was Nazi next level. It was like they did this shit in the whole. Like the Nazis, that's all they did was all this weird cult shit, and this is like all the fucking. And this country's been a fucking secret cult all along anyway. It's been a secret Nazi fucking cult the whole fucking time. It's just they just had to be more careful than they found out they fucked up. They should have been more careful. If they'd have been more careful, they'd still have a fucking some cards to play 100 years from now, but they fucked up. But the meditating, that must have been what it was. Oh, they did the meditating to bring that shit out. And then they introduced me all the witches and shit. Probing. Oh, yeah. Because I have memories of the experiments, and I remember how impressed they were. I was really fucking good. And when I was a kid, after the bees and after I got away from them with all their goodies and shit, I would practice with that shit. And it would work, Like, I could see stuff, and I was, I was like, oh man, this is, like, I'm gonna take over the fucking world. Like, between what I knew and what I was learning, and it's like, and then I was smart. I could factor it. I was like, okay, so this is where I'm at now, like a little baby being born into this shit. And I'm like 13 years old. Where am I going to be like at 18, 21, like, and I'm like, if I focus, it's like, wow, I'll be fucking Gandalf, by the time I'm fucking 19, I'll be fucking, and nobody, yeah, but I gave them all chances, I kept trying to tell them, but they were obviously like too full of fucking bullshit, It's like, so I can't tell them no more, or I'll blow my whole fucking thing. It's like, god damn, I'm gonna have to fucking go to ground and dig these motherfuckers up and flip them all around and upside down and shit and beat the fucking tar shit out of them for being fucking idiots. Because they're dead set on fucking everything up. It's like, hey, goddamn, this Bobby, he's a pussy, man. It's like, we're gonna go ahead and fuck everything up. And he doesn't, he's like, no, don't fuck everything up. Well, I'm a pussy. And then we get all the way over here, and I'm like, it's 2024, motherfuckers. You were supposed to fuck everything up 24 years ago. More than that. And here I am, still a pussy, ain't I? God damn. But anyway, that's cool about the meditation, though. But it's also the fucking Mahesh Yogi, the guru, and the Beatles. I've put it all together before, but like the day the music died, February 3rd, 1959, the day I was born, the day of the plane wreck with Buddy Holly and shit in it, and the Big Bopper and the other guy, I'm always embarrassed I can't remember his name because it's a fucking easy name, but and oh well. And Valen. Jimmy Valen or something like that. But then there's like a lull in the rock and roll world. Because that was the head of it, that was the spear tip, the white boy spear tip of the rock and roll world. And Buddy Holly was like the hinge between soul and rock. And then the Beatles woke all that shit back. The British rocket, it was like years later. The whole thing just like sat there, dead. The day the music died. And years later, the Beatles come back. And they come back with this fucking guru motherfucker, right? But I tied the dates all down, and it's like, it's all happening around February 3rd also. Like if you look at Ukraine, all the major events around Ukraine have been Olympics, during the Olympics, or during that time of the month when, just now, February 20th to 22nd, around, 22nd, but they were stepping up this year. Well, see, it's like, I keep calling them on it. It's like, you can't keep coming back to the same chessboard you fucking lost on. They keep coming back to Ukraine like, come on, let's start World War III. It's like, well, no, Ukraine's been blown since fucking 2014. Like, that thing blew under fucking Obama. And it had already gone before, really. I mean, they have no imagination, Yeah, but they don't think, when I say I call them on it, they're like, there's no such thing as you calling us on anything. And I'm like, well, there wasn't until I fucking invented it, you fucking idiots. It's like, they just never get it, Hear my voice, though? Yeah, but look at my face. So isn't it different? I'm turning back into... I'm not turning back into me. I've never been this guy. I mean, I'm getting healthy again. But that guy was fucking not happy. He was what he was. He was what he had to be. And I totally have to change. Because I'm fucking... I mean, I have to be who I have to... It's fucked up, man. It's cool as shit, too. As long as everybody leaves me the fuck alone, But they know that shit. I probably could have been doing this fucking steroid herb, Every time I did it, I had to stop because because some asshole will say something fucking wrong and I'm too aggressive, And get in fucking trouble. I don't know how I got through a bunch of that shit. And the county people, the way I treat them, it's like, God damn, Bobby. He's like, yeah, but they can twist that shit around, It's like, I know. I'm going to stay up on the street. I ain't coming down in here with them motherfuckers no more, man. They're supposed to put a paper around somewhere. Maybe it's stuffed up in the door and I don't know where it is. It gives me 30 days. 30 days, like, wait till you see. Wait till you see what I got. It was too muddy. I couldn't tell. So that's cool because it looked so good. What I did, what I uncovered. You know what it is. I've mentioned it. I'm going to go. I probably left some holes in that meditating story. Yeah, the fucking, but the dates of when the Beatles come to America and dates of performing, like, as their success grows in England and then they come here. I mean, I was looking for it, so, whenever I found it, I'd apply it, which was February 3rd or somewhere around then, It's like, if this is all, like, cultish, And I found stuff really close. But it doesn't have to be the 3rd. It's like the January 29th to the February 8th or 11th. It depends on how you look at it, because Because these festivals all started when people traveled for fucking weeks and weeks to get there and shit, with their fucking horses and carts, bringing all their little fucking idols and shit, fucking worship and come there and camp and trade and party and fucking, so the thing. And they have like everybody gets there and people are still arriving and there's like stuff that starts and then there's a peak where there's more important stuff and and then there's like weeks later there's still the people living in the camps in the woods around the area who come scavenge in the morning for leftover fucking bones with a little bit of meat left on them and shit. But and then the Maharishi, when he first comes to the United States, and he's explicitly coming here to take over the world, with meditation. Oh, that's the part. See, now you can think bad of me, but for talking about my family, but I told these motherfuckers, you talk to me or I just talk. When I get somebody to fucking listen and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you fucking people did to me and who the fuck I am, if you ain't going to tell me, then I'm just liable to blurt out any goddamn thing that I think might trigger somebody to go, hey, I know what the fuck that is. You know what that is, Bobby? And then I got you. Then you have to fucking tell me. Or commit Harry Carey. Or whatever it is. That's what'll happen. They'll all just die. All the broken bodies they got, that we all got. But, theirs is from fucking off. But, so the meditation thing was like something called Monkey Island, right? It's this story. It's like, there's these 2 islands or 3 or something, and there's fucking like monkeys, right? Or some kind of motherfuckers that swinging trees and shit. They like our cousins or some shit. And one of them starts floating around in the surf with a coconut. And he start going out there every day. Get his coconut. I'm gonna go play in the fucking ocean and shit. So then the other fucking monkeys, they start fucking. So if you got all these fucking monkeys out there playing surfing in the ocean. And somehow somebody came up with the concocted. See, when you're talking about like cults and fucking New Age and shit, you can just make stuff up, like religion. They just make stuff up. So they took this innocuous story that's really not related, and at least that was my understanding, and they turned it into when 70% of the monkeys in the first island started surfing with their coconuts, the monkeys in the second island just started doing it without being shown anything. It was just magic. It was because 70%. That's the number when the psychic connection is made that, to wit, if we can get 70% of these motherfuckers out here meditating, the other 30% will just start meditating. They won't have no choice. They'll be like mind blown. That's the theory that the New Age did. That was the whole movement. That was the explicit movement of this fucking Swami and shit, and the Beatles and shit, the 60s and shit. That's behind the scenes, and the psychics and the New World Order and all that shit. That's what's going on here in D.C. when I was being created. And then I absconded with all their headgear. And I've been like LSD tripping ever since. Gotten really good to like producing LSD in my brain, and tripping on it. So then The Swami, get this shit. The Swami is he's using this meditation and his guru. He has them Beatles, they come out to his little, like, utopia and shit. It's a building where people come and they meditate everywhere and shit. And he goes and he talks to them and he's funny little voice. And he's like God and shit. And he says that. I'm fucking God. He's hitting on the Beatles' fucking girlfriends and shit. Until they all have a big falling out and it goes public and Maharishi movement dies and the Beatles kind of come apart and shit, and everything rock and roll changed to a harder British rock invasion. Basically until Aerosmith, it was like everything we grew up on was fucking British rock invasion. Until Aerosmith, pretty much. I mean, there was others, but that was the one, and then Kansas and fucking Boston woke that shit back up. Then it died again. Leonard Skinner. What a tardy ass generation. But any fucking way. So everything died. But here in DC, there's still, it's here in DC, it's like you've got exoteric and esoteric. Esoteric, I think that's the metaphysical side, the mystery that you don't know the answer to. And exoteric is the people, they know the answer, and it's real simple. And the other idiots are just like putting the money in the plate to pay for the people that know the con, like you come here and you close your eyes and think a bunch of weird shit and you give us some fucking money. That's how it really works. And here's what the real story is. So, I forgot where I was, but I know where I'm trying to go. So maybe I'll just go there before this thing gets too long in the tooth. Gets long in the tooth. But, so then I'm on the streets years later, blah, blah, blah. And my mom winds up, they divorce, blah, blah, blah. My mom winds up going to Lorton Prison right here before they shut it down and turned it into a fucking apartment complex and shopping center and shit. Kind of cool. I should take you up there. But, if I can get where I can ride up hills on the bike good, well, the bike would break, probably me too, but maybe soon. I did good in the warm weather the other day. Oh man, that was heaven. But anyway, I think weather's my biggest problem now. But so she goes to Lorton Prison, which is all because it's DC prison, and DC is like it's not a state. So every stupid ass little crime, like they ain't got no state prison. Every stupid ass little crime is federal. So every fucking criminal is down here in fucking Lorton Prison. Then when it was open, and she's going down, they're all black. Well, it's a black prison. It's run by blacks, and the city's black. And she starts going down there. She's teaching. They're still campaigning like decades after the fucking movement's done. They're still campaigning to get 70% of the people meditating. And she's going to the prison teaching meditation. Which, like, that's what I was supposed to. It's like our family got cursed with that or something, And I said, fuck you, I ain't starting no cult in no fucking prison. And then my mom eventually has to go do it herself. God damn it, I gotta do it myself. I was like, well, if you told me what the game really was, like, or sent me to Lorton Prison, because that's where you make all the good connections. Everybody goes to Lorton Prison. The white boys come out of there with all the good connections and shit. But anyway, they just kept sending me to the county jail, and all they did is teach me how the fucking stupid ass system works. Boy, I learned a lot going to Lorton Prison, but anyway. So then she winds up having to stop teaching meditating because of a conflict of interest. She's dating one of the meditators, and he's like this big, tall, lank, good-looking fucking guy, and he's in there for fucking murdering two fucking white uh, bar or club owners that he worked for, like locking them in the place and chasing them around and butchering them and shit, like back in the fucking 80s or something, 70s or whatever. And he was in there 28 fucking years, and they eventually got married, and then he got out, and he would come here, and me and him would hang out and shit, and we'd go out to the bar sometimes, and then and my mom's like way older than him, and he's like young, good looking guy and shit, and then he fuck and I mean everybody looking, because and then he fucking dies. He had a fucking heart attack. What a fucking oh man, I liked him too, man. We got along fucking good, and he had fucking see he knew how to have respect. He come at me from hearing about me, and then he meets me, and he's like, because see, they all act like I don't know shit when they don't know shit. It's like they don't even know there's a game because of me. Without me, they wouldn't even fuck. It's like the only reason anybody comes anywhere near them is to get an angle on me. But they look at me and see an idiot because that's what I want them to see. I mean, that's the only thing I can let them see. I tried to show them less than an idiot or more. And it was like, if I showed them anything worth them hearing, they'll just use it against me later. I was like, okay, well, show them a bunch of crap they can use against me later that'll cause them to lose against me. Because they think they're so smart. Oh man, they are going to be fucked. Even if Atlantis, even if everything can cover for them, that would be great if they all came through it quietly, so they didn't die, and so they didn't become part of their big fear of the fucking big expose, the big reveal, So they're still there for me to talk to after. And grateful too, just to see how wrong they were, what they were really thinking, what their lives were, and what I meant to, who I really am. Yeah. Obviously, that's I have them cornered and checkmated, so they got to tell me everything they know, but get to the bottom of it. But how did it affect them personally? Watching me. Did I fool them? How did I get here and them? It's like I've been talking about, how did I get here and them not see it, when did they see it? Or something. I don't even know. I'm gonna go. That was fun. Are you having fun? I hope you're having fun, baby. I don't know. When I got up at 2, it's almost 5 now. But when I got up at 2 and peed, I mean, it just peed. Because I went to bed feeling a little guilty over stoning, and neglecting you. But I always hold the line on this shit. Just because it's pot, don't feel guilty. It's not like alcohol, man. You're doing this for a reason. I lay down and it's like, oh no, just keep. I can tell going into a zone. And I just let it go. I woke up and peed, and I was like, no guilt. It's like, that's it. You know, it's always like that. It's like now, even when like Cindy had this oil when we first learned about it. When she got cancer, she studied all up on it. And she found people in Oregon, and we flew out there, you know, and like doctors and shit, you know, cancer and marijuana and shit to cure it with. She did all the research, and she pulled out a whole bunch of savings and shit. We flew out there, got this fucking oil, and come back here, and like, and I'm gonna treat her with it, and well, first is I get it, like, first I remember I probably did it, you know, I had to do it with her because she didn't know how strong or anything, and I mean, she wanted me doing it with her, and I wanted to try to see what it did for me. Yeah, but everybody made me feel like I was a junkie when she was like, no, she got it from me too. It's like that was why I mean, we were both dying, and it was to see, you know, I had problems, she had problems, and she needed me to take it because I'm stronger than her. She to teach to figure out how for her to take it because she's real sensitive. She could never really do it because she couldn't do very much as she freak out. But what I did was though, when I made it for her at first, I got a bunch of it on my hands. You know, I didn't think nothing of it. And I suck it off my finger and shit. And I was like, oh, it's got a kind of like, ooh, I kind of like it. You know, so then I fuck with it some more because I'm trying to learn. I'm learning how to make her medicine from it. And I get like, whoa, dude, I'm fucking blasted off that shit. Like uncomfortably sick, like, you know. And she was like really happy that, you know, I figured out that can happen, you know, which really probably just freaked her out too. But then we, you know, we learned it and learned it. There was another time with making like, what was it? Oh, like coconut oil. Like you freeze it with coconut oil or extra. It's always you always want to use extra virgin coconut oil. Make sure it's real. Make sure it's got a nice strong coconut smell and taste. Don't fuck with no other fucking coconut oil for anything. Except I guess topical. You know, if you got a bunch of topical to get rid of, I guess if you used it for fucking, I don't know. I don't like giving advice and somebody uses it and they burn up or something like. I mean, I would probably try it for sunscreen if instead of chemical sunscreen. But I don't use sunscreen. I would just take coconut oil internally and get the benefit from that. It comes out of your skin anyway. Stay good and hydrated. And I don't know, but I don't like to tell somebody that. Then they get skin cancer. It's like I don't know, man. That fucking sunscreen shit, man. There's a lot of chemicals in this shit. And anyway, but funny, huh? It's not funny, really. Sometimes I think that about you. That when I say stuff, you know, like I make light of it, and you don't always, you know. Shit makes you angry or something, which makes me cry, and it should. I gotta be careful getting angry. I'm getting good at it, I think, though, you know? Maybe. It's hard to tell. Got to be careful, you know. Like, but what if it's pent up? You know, what if it's just like waiting? It's like, well, I know what that's. I've been through that enough fucking times. I feel like I'm getting better. We're getting better. Oh man. Roller coaster. I love your roller coaster. I'm gonna go, baby. Good. What time is it for you? Okay, so it's 5. What makes it 2 there? That's why I told you. Because I don't know you're sleeping. I don't know what your habits are. I expect there. I don't know how much you travel, so might be that it's just it's all over the place. Or like you're the master of it. I could see all of you just getting smarter, like a lot fucking smarter, especially if you like step back and look at it as a group, like you don't get lost to learning from your experiences. Man, I can only imagine. Because I've hitchhiked around the country. I've been into Russia with Cindy, and Alaska, and California with her. Hitchhiked California. I'm worldly enough, but before Cindy, I might as well just always have been in the same place because I don't get far off the highway and shit. You know, in Long Beach, I fucked around in Long Beach for a while, but well, for a couple of days until I got myself into some shit and said, "Fuck this, motherfuckers out here. I'll never get, you know, like I might get used to them, but they'll never get used to me." Fucking California, but in well, Long Beach. Anyway, but y'all are on the inside, you know. That like I'm always on the outside looking in along the highway, and you guys are like you're on the inside, like, well, you're not living the high life either, you know. You like you are the high life, but like you really are too, though. You know, you're fucking gypsies and shit. If you don't get lost in it, you know, you know a lot of shit. Okay, this is the real goodbye. I'm gonna hit the thing like as soon as my lips hit the fucking camera. I'm hitting that motherfucker. Okay, right.